Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deborah Jones, your co-host. Your host. I was just talking about the co-host. My host, your host for Blue Table Talk podcast. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. I know that you will enjoy tonight's podcast. We have tonight Miss Minister Brooklyn Williams, and she's going to come to us. Before she comes to us, I have a bio of Brooklyn. There's a lot of stuff that I did not know myself. So I asked Brooklyn to send me a bio, and I'm going to read it. So she says, Brooklyn Williams Academic Prize has never been an option for any for our federal. I'm sorry, for our featured personality. Pedagogically speaking, excellency is achievement took place on every level as Brooklyn attended Price Elementary. I worked at Price. Oldham Academy, Clifton Ozan Senior High School, where she was crowned homecoming queen. Awesome. Lamar University, where she received a bachelor's degree in corporate communication. Grace School of Theology, where she earned her master's of ministry with a specialization in Christian counseling. And Regent University, where she is currently pursuing her PhD in strategic leadership and ecclesiastical studies. Go get it, girl. Brooklyn's greatest accomplishments was answering her call to ministry in the fall of 2020. There has been no greater honor. At present, her multi-talented administrative powerhouse of a young lady operates as the chief of administration at Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, executive director of John R. Adolph Ministries, and the executive producer for Ambassador TV. Go ahead. She's lovingly labors week after week as she gives leadership to a huge contingency of Lamar University students as the off-campus advisor for the relentless LU crew of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. She is the she is the executive director of business development for her own company, 2023 Vision LLP, where she does visual marketing for brands, businesses, and individuals. Not to mention, she is a professional program coordinator, a skillful event developer, and a dynamic motivational speaker. Brooklyn was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, so when it regards community service, she partners with numerous communal efforts across the width and breadth of the region to make Jefferson County, Texas, a better place to live for everyone. Her partnerships include, but are not limited to, serving as the Career and Technical Education Board of BISD, serving as an ambassador for the Strategic Planning Committee for BISD, and partnering with other entities and agencies such as the Top 40 Under 40 Chamber of Commerce for the purpose of building bridges and empowering people. It should come as no surprise that our federal personality is a lady of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and is an Ivy Box brand ambassador. To see her is to look for admiration. To be in her presence is to stand near a portrait of redemption. To shake her hand is to touch a sincere disciple of Jesus Christ who is growing towards perfection. And to get to know her is a gracious gift from God. I love that. I love that. Let's welcome to the podcast, Minister Brooklyn D. Williams. Hey, Brooklyn, how you doing today? Tonight, really?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for accepting the invitation to Blue Table Talk. I was so excited when you said you would do. I'm like, what? So everything has been good. I've been waiting for this moment for December 12th to come by, and I'm like, okay, so it's Brooklyn night. It's Brooklyn night. So let's get it started. I love my guests every night, every week when they come on. I just love them. I just try to eat them up. I just try to ask them so many questions that when the time for us to get off, I'm like, okay, it's time to go. So Brooklyn, I just read a little bit about yourself, but I'm interested in your church stuff right about now. So I'm actually a couple of questions about that. So just sit back, relax, and this is Blue Table Talk, and I'm Deborah Jones. What enticed you to take on such a prestigious position of the church or at the church?
As chief of administration, well, of course, you have to know that I did not start there. There's levels to everything, and so this just so happened to be where I ended up. And to be completely honest, you can ask Pastor or anybody else. I honestly did not want to do it. The reason why I didn't want to do it was because I felt like I did not know enough or that I could not do enough. I was one of the ones that said, "Let me help you find someone to do this." And Pastor just kept saying, "Brooklyn, you do it without thought every single day. You do it without thought every day. It comes natural to you." But still, on the back end, I just said, "Pastor, please, please let me find one of the greatest." I believe that Antioch is one of the greatest churches on this side of heaven.
Absolutely.
Pastor Adolph is one of the greatest pastors on this side of heaven, and I wanted him to have the best. And so, humbly, I just said, "I really want to find someone that could really knock this out of the park for you." But of course, if you know Pastor like I know Pastor, there's only so many times that you can say no.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I mean, you walk when I see you, you're so quiet, and
Yes, ma'am.
she is a powerhouse. I mean, I'm like, she walks like, okay, this is no worries in the world.
Yes, none. Just calm and just observant.
Right.
But after telling him no and he's saying no was not an option, I said yes. And since then, I've been doing everything that I can to not only learn. So as you read in my bio, my PhD will be in leadership, strategic leadership in ecclesiastical studies, because even then I wanted to learn more. I want to know how to do administration for a church,
Mhm.
because some things are very different. And so, in short, Pastor knew it. Also in the bio, it says that I'm the executive director of John R. Adolph Ministries,
Mhm.
and then also the chief of administration for Antioch, which are two completely different jobs. And so, what Pastor Adolph what he really wanted me to do was do for the church what I did for the ministry.
Right.
So, in that, he knew what I was able to do, and that's really how it got started.
Right, right. Wow, wow, that's interesting. Now you just answered a question I was going to ask you. I was supposed to, before taking on this position, did you have any experience? You said you didn't have any,
Yeah,
so that was good. So as you went along, you learned, what to do.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
So you stayed
absolutely.
under his leadership, and that's how. What?
Yeah, right. And so so I've been working for him for over 10 years.
Okay.
And so again, working for the ministry that requires administration, you
Right.
know. And so coming in, that was the experience that I had. I just didn't believe in myself to say, could I really do this for the entire church? The administration for one person is great.
Right.
It's Pastor Adolph. I know how to handle this, the booking, the traveling, and all of that. But the
Hmm.
church it would become much more broader. You're
Hmm.
looking at staff, human resource, all of these different things. And so, that's really how I ended up getting to that. So the experience came from the 10 years working in ministry, working for him under his ministry, John R. Adolph Ministries.
Oh, cool, cool. So now you work for the entire church. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
how would you handle a situation where there's a conflict between two members of the congregation?
Okay. So it depends on how that conflict is presented to me. Never has it ever been presented just right there in the foyer. And one thing that you must know is that every Sunday, Pastor has a meeting with his chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And that meeting, so after everyone has gone home, now I get there at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. We have a huddle meeting at 7 a.m., which requires all leaders. If you're a leader over ushers, greeters, music, there's one representative from every moving component from the church. We meet at 7 o'clock a.m. And that meeting is to talk about the logistics and specifics for that Sunday. Will we have special guests? Will they need reserved seating? Will they do a presentation? Will we have baby blessing? All of any little thing that happens on a Sunday, it was discussed at 7 o'clock that morning, which suggests there should be no surprises. But what happens when there are? Right? What
Mm-hmm.
happens when, this person didn't know about this and this one did, and it became a conflict? There was some issues within a service or in between services. Those issues are brought to the table when church is over at 12:30 p.m. Pastor meets with his chiefs to talk about everything that went wrong, everything that went right. And so we will find out, who are these two individuals? Where do they fall? Are they leaders or laity? Are they staff?
Mhm.
Who are these people? Because at a certain point, there shouldn't be, if it's a ministry leader or something like that, well, we're going to talk to our chief of ministries about that person.
Mhm.
There's no need for me to talk to that person. You're over ministries, talk to the ministry leader.
Right,
You see
right,
what I'm saying? If it becomes a member or something like that, because I'm the chief of administration and pastor is the pastor and he's not one to shy away from anything, he wants, because it's his member and they are the laity, he will call them himself.
right.
So we want to make sure that all hearts and minds are clear. We
Mhm.
want to make sure that there was a level of understanding, even in the misunderstanding,
Mhm.
what really happened. And then we come in, or I come in as administration with black and white
Mhm.
that says, okay, I understand that, but this is how this goes.
Yeah.
This is how we want to make sure that those things are handled. So it really just depends on who the conflict of interest was between, what was it about, and
Right.
what is the resolve. And
Right.
no need to talk to a person if you don't have the resolve yet. Get the
Right.
resolve at the table. Yeah.
Resolution.
Yeah. What are we going in, ending on? Right? Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, ma'am. That's how that would go.
Cool. Well, let me talk to my audience right now, my viewers. Okay, thank you guys for coming on Blue Table Talk tonight. I really appreciate you as always. You always been my backbone. Okay, so if you're on my phone, because I'm watching you on my phone as well, come on to the comment section and say hello to Brooklyn. This is Brooklyn Williams. She's the chief administrator of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, the greatest church in Beaumont. I have Kayla Morris out here. She has a question. She says, come on, levels to it. Brooklyn Williams is perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Robert Spain says hello. So
Hi.
Melissa says hello.
Hi.
And Kayla says, hey, pretty girl. She is beautiful. So, and when I first saw you, Brooklyn, I think you had just graduated from high school,
Oh, wow.
and you were you walked in to the front of the church, and you just standing there. And
Mhm.
so I said, and I asked her, why I said, who is she? So why is she standing there? They said, it's Brooklyn. So I said, oh, okay. And from then on,
Mhm.
you grew. I
Yes.
mean, I saw you growing in different areas, and I'm like, really, I
Mhm.
like that. I like that.
Thank
I
you.
think I
Thank
told
you.
you not too long ago, I admire you. And
Thank you so much.
we were getting ready to walk, and
Mhm.
so you passed by me. When I say you are so quiet, you would just say, "I got your message." I'm like,
I got it. I got it.
so I said, okay, okay. So like I said, I was so happy to even approach you to ask you
Yes, ma'am.
to
Thank
be a part of Blue Table Talk. So let me see another person, Gigi. Let me see, Gigi Lotti. No, that's Kayla. Gigi says, "Hello, Miss Brooklyn."
you. Hi.
Agent Arsenal, the greatest church in Beaumont, and Cassandra Perkins says, "Hello, Miss Brooklyn, Minister Brooklyn." So these are people who I know will bring questions to the table as we go along. Okay.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So describe your approach to developing and implementing policies for the church.
Okay. My approach for it. So honestly, I develop policies based off of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the point where we have these train wrecks, which it happens all the time, and we call them train wrecks when, we think that one part is going great, but there's another area of the church that's struggling or not necessarily getting the best benefits out of it. So let's just use for an example. Everything is working good over here, but you don't take into consideration how my team has to handle this, how my team has to come in and clean this up after everyone is gone, right? So I get all the problems. I
Mm-hmm.
get all the problems. And to be honest, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the problems. I want to know the problems. Don't hide the problems, because at that moment, we can take it, bring it to the table, and create policies.
Right.
And so with that being said, so honestly, policies are created from problems. If
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing that there's a constant need, there's a constant error, somewhere along the lines, there's a breach in the system.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, something is not connecting. And so once we create those policies, a lot of times, and administration is black and white, it's not up for discussion.
Right.
And it's really, again, because you don't see what the other people are dealing with. You don't see what this area of the team is dealing with versus the other. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's how policies are drawn, or how I've been to a point where I could say, look, we need to put something down in writing regarding this, because one thing that I don't want to do is say this to one person and then say something else to another, to
I
be able to say, no, we're not doing that. We don't do that. We can't do that. But then if it's somebody that we know, we want to change it. And I just talked to Pastor, said, look, I just want to be fair. I want to be fair to everyone, whether we know them or whether we don't,
Mhm.
because you never know who knows who,
Right.
right? Just because I'm good friends with them doesn't mean that the other person is. And just because you are doesn't mean that I am. And
Yeah.
so the best way to fix that is just to draw a direct line, a bold line. It's not even a thin line. It's not a gray line. It is a black line.
Hmm.
And it says, where does this fall? How can we do this? And of course, pastors meeting the needs of the total person.
Right.
That's what we want to be able to do. And so with that in mind, we create policies
Mhm.
so that we can do that, and we can be direct and say, this is why we did it, or this is why we did not.
Right. So let me go back to my people, viewers. Look, if you guys have any questions to ask Brooklyn, please put them on the screen, and I will forward them to her as well. So how long have, before I ask that part, how many people do you have under you?
37 as employees, 37 employees. Yes, ma'am.
So when did you sleep? I didn't hear you.
I'll have to go and reevaluate that because I'm not sure yet.
I know, because I know if you have that many under you, I know, there are some conflicts somewhere.
Yeah, oh wait, uh-huh.
Yeah, so, and I know that you probably have to walk in there and resolve it.
Yes, ma'am.
Like you said, we have to have a resolution to what's going on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now it gets larger and larger and larger. Then you say, oh, wow, I should have said something then.
Right.
So how long have you been a minister?
I've been a minister for now 5 years.
Right, right,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
right. Like I said, you're so humble. You're so
Thank
humble.
you.
I'm, I'm learning how to be humble. Wow, I'm learning. I'll explain how you would ensure that oh, I'm sure you do that. Explain how you ensure that all financial records are accurate and up to date. Is that in your category or what?
Not necessarily. So whereas I sit as the chief of administration, we
Oh,
also have a chief of finance,
right,
Ms. Felicia Young, who does
right,
a phenomenal job. As you know, we've paid off the church and our youth
right.
activity center, but all things finance go to Felicia,
Mhm.
just as all things ministry go to Dr. Karen Davis. And we pride ourselves on being able to say, oh, chief of finance. The best thing about us is we've learned to stay in our lane. We've
Mhm.
learned to handle those things just like that. I don't even want to know about finance.
Right, right.
We come to the table as chiefs to be all on one page and all on one accord, but all things finance would be our chief of finance.
Tell me one time when you have difficult decision about an administrator
About an administrator,
or administration. Put it like that.
a difficult decision.
Mhm.
Let's see. How would I want to look at that? I mean, they're not necessarily difficult. It's just a decision that has to be made. Like for example, coming into the position, as an administrator, Brooklyn, do you deal with the current staff? Do you bring in new staff?
Mhm.
Is there a transition? So those are all areas that are great.
Mhm.
Which again, that was difficult for me because coming in and being kind of quiet and just observant, if you will, you don't want to get rid of all, people that have been there all of this time, right? But then at the
Right.
same time, you have new goals, new ideas, new visions that you actually want to bring in. And
Mhm.
so difficult would be sitting to say, you respect me for the position that I have, and I'll respect you for the time that you've been here.
Right.
Can we come and meet? Can we come and meet in the middle regarding that? And honestly, I have to be honest. I did not have problems with that at Antioch. I was grateful. I was nervous. I was like, Lord, okay, Pastor, are you going to say it for me? He was like, absolutely not. You're going to say it. You're going to do it. And I'm just like, Lord, okay, let's just buckle down. But the thing that kind of silenced a lot of that is that the systems began to work.
Mhm.
They began to work. At first, it kind of looks like, oh, they're doing something different. Is this now? It's this now? It's this now? But it was really just trying to shift. We were
Mm-hmm.
just trying to shift and put new policies, procedures in place, actually let the church know that there was an administrative structure present.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not have many issues regarding that. I had more with myself to say, Brooklyn, can you do this? Will you be able to do it? Will it work? You know, but the staff, no, everything was wonderful. Of course, we expanded it and start. You know, of course, we expanded different offices to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, let's hire somebody to do this. You know, so that we don't have to put so much on a few people. Let's
Right.
expand it, and so that the people that we have can really do great
Right.
with what they're assigned to do.
Right, right. So did you ever go out to other churches who have the same title and watch them, or got advice from them, or
You know, it's funny that you say that. Recently, Pastor had us go through this L3 series, listen, learn, and lecture. And
hmm
he had all of the chiefs, including our youth pastor, our interim youth pastor, and he met with he would schedule calls and conferences for us to learn from certain people that he admired, certain
right,
churches that he admired,
right,
and we were able to listen, learn, and have a lecture from them
mhm,
because we don't have it all together. You know, I don't think anyone does. So
right,
whereas we're strong in some areas, there may be some that we're weak in. And we would listen to them in some areas, they would be weak. And we were like, we got that locked. You know, we're good. You know, we got that good. Yes, but he had us to do that every month, you know, like listen, learn, lecture, listen, learn, lecture. And so, yes, absolutely. And of course, with the traveling, of course, I'm able to travel with the ministry of Pastor Adolph. I'm exposed to so much and I get to see it for myself. You know, one thing that I always told Pastor was, he would travel and he would come back with these grand ideas. Brooklyn, you should have been there. I saw this and they did this and this and that. And he was describing Disney World, you know, to the extent of a Disney World, but all I had ever seen was Akima,
right,
right? See, I'd never been to Disney World before in real life, but I
right,
had been to Kima. So my mind would not even open to understand what a Disney World could be like, you know? And
hmm
so when he would come back and say, man, I saw this and it was this and it was that, my mind couldn't even get there
hmm
because I had not been exposed to it. But now with traveling, I'm just like, oh my God, this is what you were talking about. This is how this is supposed to go. And he was just like, yes, I've been telling you this for so long. And I said, but I didn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend it because I had never been exposed to it. So now when I come back with different ideas and just different things that I want to implement, it's because I saw it for myself.
Yeah, yeah. So how often do you travel?
Oh, often, very often, very often. So
You
I
might
would
take the
say,
travel with y'all.
yeah, it's like, yeah, at least at least three times a month, every three weeks out of the month. Um,
hmm
you know, so what we try to do, yeah, so what we try to do is 1 day a week, 1 week a month, 1 month a year home.
Wow, that's a lot of travel. Like I asked you earlier, when do you sleep? I didn't hear
Yeah, all
you.
the time.
So let me go to my questions for the audience and see what they're talking about. Because they're throwing them out. And I'm like, okay, okay, I'm coming.
Okay.
Melissa says, I'm over the media at my church. We're a small church and we would like to expand our media with new ideas and viewing. Do you offer training for other churches to advance them with their media and advertising?
Absolutely. And it was not mentioned in the bio, but before I became the chief of administration, I was the executive director over media.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another reason why I was hesitant to accept the position as chief of administration, because I knew if I moved there, there would be a hole in the, you know, with that. We would need someone to hire. Thus, I was able to hire Landon Richard, who was my co-host for Ambassador TV. And so absolutely, there's that's not a problem at all. We love to help the same way others reach out to help us.
Right.
Just anything like that. And even if it's not me, Landon Richard, again, like I said, who is our executive director over media, he would love to do it. They have a team of people, a hired staff, and they know the ins and outs of all things media.
And they're awesome guys. They're really awesome. I think I'm just biased. What y'all think? Caleb says, question, what does her schedule consist of, hourly, weekly, and seasonal?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to begin. I honestly don't even know where to begin. No day is the same. No week is the same. Seasonal, because there's so many different things that God has blessed me to be able to do. So, whereas a day could be going, dealing with the things for the church. Then I could have to do things with Relentless, which is the college ministry. Perhaps a photo shoot, a commercial. It's just random. Where can I schedule it? Where could it fit in? And I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done. So there's not necessarily any office hours for me, because if I don't think there's enough hours at the office, the church would close and they would put me out. But it's honestly around the clock. Time management. You ask when do I sleep? I get a chance to rest, because I do believe if you don't rest, I believe that He will make it you to lie down, right?
Right.
And so I take the time to rest when I can, but once I'm up, it's time to go. Weekly, like I said, it just depends on the day. You can say every Sunday is church and every Thursday I teach Bible study, but those are the only two things that are a constant. Everything else is just what's on the schedule. What could I do? How can I get it taken care of? I wish that I could give you more, and I'd be happy to talk to you more about it on the side, but it just depends.
Varies. Yeah. 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 Elizabeth LeBlanc said, hello, Minister Brooklyn. Thank you so much for using the gift God bless you with.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Reverend Terrence Grant Malone says, hey, Auntie. Hey,
Hey, hey, uncle.
nephew.
Hey.
So, like I said, I'll be throwing the questions out. As much as they put them out there, I'll be throwing them to you. So,
Okay.
what strategies do you use to maintain effective communication with the church leadership team?
What strategies do I use to do effective leadership?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to get with the church leadership team. Okay, so here we go. I just put this in, and we'll do this in 2024. Um, I personally, with the 37 that we have on staff, believe it or not, I will only meet with them quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
I will only meet with them quarterly. But to back it up a little bit, every Sunday, like I said, pastor meets with us. And when I say at 12:30, we don't finish until like 3 o'clock.
Wow.
We don't finish until
So
3 p.m.
y'all have your lunch spread out there, right?
Yeah, he provides breakfast, but I have to be honest, by the time the meeting is over, I'm hungry again. But so pastor meets with us weekly. From there, I'll meet with department heads. So
Mm-hmm.
there are 7 departments under the 37 that we have, right? So I'll meet with those department heads once a month. Those department heads are to meet with the staff that sits under them. See, nothing should change from pastor's mouth to my ears, from my mouth to their ears, and it goes like that, right?
Right.
So you don't have to create an agenda. Pastor's already created the agenda. He
Right.
gave it to me. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that way, again, we're all on the same page.
Right.
We're all on the exact same page. So what he says every week, I'll kind of get some stuff and work through it. I'll meet with those department heads once a month. They meet with their staff, and then we kind of get that thing quarterly going. I did not want to burn them out with meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Only because the more I meet with you, the less you have time to actually do the assignments.
I will do the assignment.
Yeah. Now, granted, we follow up, we talk throughout the day and all of that, but just an official meeting with everybody, no, we all know what we're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of, I make sure. I love to have a staff that I'll watch them, I'll watch certain things, but the truth of the matter is they do it without watching. And I love that about them. I really, really do.
Right. And not micromanagement.
No, no.
I mean, you really can't get anything done doing that. So
Yeah, right.
yeah. Reverend Malone also says, what is one of the most important nuggets your grandfather? That's your grandfather?
Yes.
The small world. I loved him. Reverend M.L. Williams Jr. imparted to you that you utilize in your administrative actions.
You know what? It's so funny, but now that you know my grandfather, you know that he was pretty stern. He was pretty strict.
Yeah.
And honestly, believe it or not, I believe that my level of being black and white comes from that. Many times my mom is just like, good grief. Will you, give us a break? And I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, this is how these things are supposed to be done. And my grandfather really, really admired leadership.
Hmm.
He really did. Even when I was working at cons, he would say things like, "I hear you running the place," and
Right.
I would be like, "Grandpa, no, I'm not running the place. Oh, that's what I hear." He would just do things like that, and so I believe if he knew that this is what I was doing to this magnitude,
Right.
he would be proud, and I love to make him proud. I really, really did, but and
Awesome.
he knows it, just strict.
Yes. Yes.
Very strict.
You didn't know, you don't know this, or did not know this, but I used to be minister of music over choirs at Fellowship Baptist Church, and then I
Uh-huh.
was doing the rest. And by the time I got to Antioch, I was like,
Oh yeah, you was in General Vaughn. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I was strict Terrence Malone could tell you that I was strict when you would not get up there and do anything that's not relevant to God.
Yeah.
If you're not getting up there with those big earrings, that's number
Mhm.
one. You're
Yeah.
not getting up there, cross your legs in the choir stand.
Mhm.
Terrence will tell you that. Don't cross your legs. You cross them at the
With the
bottom.
ankle.
I mean, when I say strict, but the choir was so we were so good, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I say so myself, but I love working in the church, and I don't know why I stopped.
Mhm. Yeah. And
One,
believe it or not, being at New Light at the time, I didn't even realize because I was younger. That was in 2008. I joined Antioch in 2008, but I never even realized that there was a such thing as administration in the church because family. It was just different. I had no idea,
yeah,
no idea.
yeah.
I was, after I got to Antioch, I was just like, wait a minute, did we pay the drummer at New Light? Like. Wait a minute. Just doing this, I started thinking about all of these things and suddenly it all made sense.
It made sense.
It
Yeah,
all made sense. The pastor's aid. See, it was called pastor's aid then,
right,
wait a
right.
minute. That was called that, and this is really what this was, so I'm so grateful for my foundation at New Light, but I was grateful to have a pure way of looking at it,
Right.
and then got to this side and was just like, nobody never told me nothing.
No one told me this. Grandpa didn't tell me. No one told me.
Nobody said nothing.
Nobody. Nobody. So let me see it. Terrence says, "Oh, she was the best." Thank you, nephew. Adrian says, "Yes, indeed. Until you were strict." Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. We're gonna have a phone call after this is over. Okay, so we're talking about the ministry. Let's talk about relentless. I want to get into. Oh, well, before I go into relentless, there's somebody else just threw a question. She says, "I'm Catholic, but I love watching Pastor Adolph's church service online after attending my mass.
Yeah.
You and Brandon are very entertaining and enjoyable to watch as well."
Thank you so much. Landon would love to hear you say that. Of course, that would just.
Oh, well, you might say something Sunday about. Did you see you on Blue Table Talk?
Yeah, he's just convinced that everybody loves him so much.
You're gonna say, hush. Like I said earlier, they're just awesome. I just love them. So we're gonna talk about Relentless. Do y'all know about the Relentless crew? They're the people, the members at Lamar University and Brooklyn. Did you start the organization or what?
Yes, ma'am. So this makes year 10 for me doing Relentless. Before it was called the LU crew. And just really quickly, how Relentless started, Pastor did a study called 40 Days in the Word by Rick Warren. And I was younger. So 10 years ago, you're talking about maybe 23. And so I didn't want to do this study. I wanted to participate in the study. Like, you have a group, can I come to your group? And I had a couple of friends that said, "Hey, Brooklyn, can we be in your group?" And I said, I'm not doing a group. What are you talking about? And because they kept asking, I said, okay, I'll do it. And it started with 7 people. And I chose the 7 as my friends because I knew if I messed up, they wouldn't know the difference, right? I'm just like, cool, we can just get this through. It's 40 days, the 6 weeks, whatever. Let's go ahead and do it. And it started with 7, but by the end of the 6 weeks, I had about 24 people in my mother's living room. And my mom said, "Brooklyn, I love what you're doing, but these are strangers in the house." She was like, I mean, this is cool, but they are strangers. You don't know
You
them
have
because
to
yeah,
go.
because my friends invited their friends, and it went to that. But it was considered to be a small group, and a small group is anything from 7 to 14. So I went to the church leadership at that time. I was not the chief of administration. I was just Pastor Adolph's assistant, and I told her, I think I'm breaking the rules because I have more than 14. I don't mean to, but how do I tell them, they need to do something else? And the lady, Miss Sheila Moss,
Mhm.
she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, Brooklyn, this is a ministry. You have to know." I
Mhm.
didn't even know ministry. What is ministry? What is the definition of a ministry?
Right.
Because, and we'll talk about this or maybe perhaps, but I was sneaking to Antioch. I wasn't even supposed to be there. If you know my grandfather like I know my grandfather, that was not the case.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm like, oh no, no, I'm pushing it by doing this. And so I did not really know what all of those things actually meant. And from there, it became I would meet on at the church. I would meet at the church. They told me they would give me space to continue doing it, so that they wouldn't be at my parents' house. But what I realized was I had a group of young adults at that time. I had just graduated from college,
Mhm.
but so I have friends that are not in college, but then I also have friends that are in college, right? Well, when I get on the church's campus, those that were in college, they didn't really want to leave the campus. But then those that were not in college didn't want to go on campus.
Right.
So I found myself doing it twice. I was teaching on campus and I
Mhm.
was teaching off campus because I wanted to, kind of meet the needs of the total person. But eventually, my influence grew on the campus of Lamar University. And so I just started meeting. I continued meeting week after week after week. Pastor says consistency is where growth is. If you're
Right.
not consistent, there
Absolutely.
will be no growth. And
Right.
so, that's what I continue to do, just meeting every single week, every single Thursday. I got a group of, I had a student that was just, he came to me and said, Miss Brooklyn, I really want to do this, this, and this. And I'm looking at him because, in all honesty, I was beginning to get burnout, you
Mm.
know, younger, still growing and still trying to find my own way. I
Right.
was ready to stop. And Pastor will say it. I was like, hey, I'm tired. I've been doing this for this long. It's cool, but what's happening? And God sent me a student. His name was Michael Mitchell.
Mhm.
And Michael Mitchell came in just fresh, excited, and ready. He was just like, I really want to call it the Relentless LU Crew. We can do this and we can do that. And that's what I looked at him and said, we can call it whatever you want if you're about to help. That's where I was. Thus, it became the Relentless LU Crew.
Wow.
Because and it showed me a different way, because what I learned was I was trying to do something, but I had graduated. And so as a graduate student, you don't have the same amount of access that a student would have.
Mhm.
And so we turned the ministry into an organization.
Right.
And that's when it really began to be just crazy,
Right.
growing exponentially, because now the same perks that the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha have, Relentless had.
Right.
If
Right.
we needed to reserve space on campus, we could reserve space on campus. If
Cool.
we
Yeah.
needed to know about certain events that were happening, we had access to it. So we became an actual organization. And God has been so kind to me with the Relentless LU Crew. We finished this last semester with 509 students.
Really, actually, how large is it now?
Yeah,
Yes.
we have 509 as an active roster. They get baptized. I had 17 graduates. It's just been amazing. But what I did was I created the administration of Relentless,
Mm-hmm.
just like I did the administration of Antioch.
Okay.
So what Relentless has a choir, Relentless has greeters, ushers, culinary. Because it's so big, you have room, you have students to do it.
Right.
They do praise dancing and all of that jazz, but it's really just the administration. And that's really why it grew. It grew because of the administration. I know how many, I know if they miss, I know what they're doing, I know about their prayer requests. I am that person
Mm-hmm.
that will sit there and go through every prayer request, and I will respond. I will. They want to know that you care, and I care.
Yes.
I
Yes.
really do. And
So
so it's
all
been
the
great.
members of the Relentless are them all members of Antioch?
No. You don't have to be. Get this. In fact, some of them don't even go to church, which
Wow.
is why I try to
It's
make that, which is why I try to have church as much as possible on
right.
Thursdays, which is why we have a choir, which is why I come in and teach, which is why we have communion on the first Thursdays. It's why I offer baptism, because some of them may never even get to Antioch. Should they get to it, then it's a sight to see. But if you never make it, Antioch met you, and that is what's been kind. But no, the students they go everywhere.
Right.
They're
Right.
from yeah, no, 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 not at all. And believe it or not, the resources that are given to me for Relentless, it doesn't matter what church you're a part of. You're
Right.
connected to me, just like Antioch would be.
Right.
Antioch is not like that. It's
Mm,
not for members only or anything like that. Whatever I have to give to those students, that's what they are considered as, those students. I'm
right.
not looking at anything else behind them.
Right. Right. So, as far as your staff with Relentless, how many are involved in that?
No staff per se. Um,
Uh-huh.
they're all volunteers.
Okay.
So I have 13 who are considered to be on the executive board of Relentless, which means you have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, all of that. And then those ministry leaders who are a leader over choir and all of that. So it's 13 of them. And from those 13, we have, I would say about 60, 65 that are I call them the committed, which
Mm-hmm.
means they show up an hour early to help me prepare and set up for the service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they come in and volunteer an hour early and stay an hour late to make sure that Relentless goes smoothly.
Oh, smoother. So you said you meet at LU, right?
Every week at Lamar University in the Price Auditorium.
Yeah. So I think that we're at Lamar.
Mhm. And
So
so much so,
you give
Mr. Price actually showed up. Mr. Price, who the building is named after, he came out to Bible study. He came
okay.
out to our last one. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, cool. It's how long is it?
We're there for about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. But the students, I tell them all the time, guys, I'm ready to go home. They like to have a good time afterwards. Miss Brooklyn, what are you about to go do? I tell them, don't worry about that, because I'm going home. I'm tired, but yeah, about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Not long.
And you're an ML Williams granddaughter.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am.
I loved him.
Yeah.
So you see, I'm old school, so we know about ML Williams.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah. Okay, so you already told me where the meet. Let's talk about your business.
Mhm.
And with all this going on, you are this and that at the church. You have this relentless group. You still have a business
Mhm.
that you run. And what is the name of it? And tell us about it.
Okay, so that's called 2023 Vision. It's a partnership that I have with a couple of other guys, and we do visual marketing, commercials, and different things like that, which they really do the real work. I do the administration on the backhand side of it that just kind of gets things together and taken care of. But it was really just a group of guys who was already working for me at the church, or working with me at the time at the church. And I knew what they were trying to do. I could see it. So really and truly, it was something that the two of them had going. And I knew that what they were missing,
Right,
which was admin. See, they had the talent. They could do all of that easily. But I knew it would only go so far without somebody keeping
right,
track of something.
right,
They were younger. They are younger than me. And so we put that administrator spill on that. And once we were able to kind of get it going, it really went like it went really well. So many times you'll see us, we'll work for BISD, we'll do work for BISD, we'll do work for ExxonMobil, we'll do work, for different companies. Yeah, and even for churches, should somebody call and say we need this, or a wedding, it really just depends on the time and the availability. When we first got started, we had all the time in the world. But now the older that we've gotten, it's really just like, okay, can we lock this in? Do you guys want to do this? Can we do that? But yes, ma'am, visual marketing.
yeah. Oh, cool, cool, cool. And another thing, with your sorority, we were we were talking earlier about it. You are the ambassador for the Ivy Box brand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell us,
Yes.
but you cannot be no one can be a part of unless they are AKA, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So, of course, so this falls under the umbrella of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the Ivy Box ambassador. So the Ivy Box is the official, I guess the official vendor for Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority incorporated. Of course, there are many vendors, but this is one. This is the one and only official one that the sorority has, and I'm grateful and I've been honored to be an ambassador on behalf of the sorority. So this is 4 years for me when I signed my first contract, and it has been amazing. It's so some people, some people will look at it and it's like, okay, is it pictures and commercials? Is that all that you do? But not necessarily, because I've been introduced to so many other people. For example, I was able to interview Michelle Obama on her most recent book.
yeah, I
That that
that.
was through
Yeah,
that was strictly through being an ambassador.
okay.
That was strictly through being an ambassador. So the connections are limitless, and I've enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah, can you go get it back and so she can be on my podcast? I'm just
Hey, look, when the camera turned on and that really was her, I almost passed out. I said, "Lord, get it together, Brooklyn." Hey, and I had Landon here. Landon was here, Lord Jesus, to kind of help me calm my nerves. He was just like, "Get it together." You should have seen him in the back.
probably doing a little dance and everything.
I was like, "Get out, get out, get out! You're making my nerves bad, boy."
Yeah,
But yeah, so it was amazing. It was amazing
yeah,
to
yeah.
look at that, read that book, and interview her. And honestly, when I interviewed her, she knew about Relentless, and that made my heart so happy.
Well, she
Yeah.
probably she probably dug in there to see what
Oh
is
yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. They knew who would be on the call. There was a strict, strict research vetted out just to make sure who is she be talking to, what is she doing, what does she not do, all of that. And so
right. Exactly. Wow.
that was awesome.
That's something you be like, how do you know all that?
I did. I was just like, oh Lord. So it started making me say, what else am I doing? Brooklyn, make sure you're make sure you're doing good.
Yes. So if anybody who is uh affiliated with AKA, they can become a part of
Yeah.
the Ivy Box. Whatever.
Yes, you just subscribe to the Ivy Box. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So y'all hear that, AKAs? Y'all hear
Yeah, they know about it. Trust me, they know about it. Yeah.
that is so do you travel with them or something?
Well, yes. So, if I have to travel, recently they flew me to Orlando. I think I was in Orlando for them to cover a boule, and so that was awesome. They hired me and my team, and it was great because it allowed me to bring my media team with me, right? Um,
Okay.
and they were able to come and do photos of me in Florida and do a commercial in Florida, and even my makeup artist was able to come just to be able to take care of everything. So yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Should they need a special project, they know that I'm willing to do that. I love to do it. And so when I have to travel, I'm there.
Right. And Adrian Arsenault says, wow, congratulations on the work that you do for the kingdom.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you guys, she's awesome. Even when I walk in church and if I don't ever see you, Brooklyn, until I'm walking out of
Yeah, yeah, too, yeah.
church. You might be sitting down,
Mhm.
getting the books ready to sign
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Mhm.
then I'll see you, I'll turn around. And the other day, like I said, I wanted to say something to you and I got
Mhm.
pulled from here to here. So I said, you know what?
Yes.
I'm going home. I have to see her later.
Yes.
But like I said, you're so humble, you're so quiet, you walk in the quiet spirit,
Thank
so it's just awesome about the things that you do for the church, for yourself, and for everybody else.
you.
So like I said, when do you sleep? And that continues to go. And I'm
Mhm.
just hearing that you're 33.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because when you said 10 years back and I was 23, I
Uh-huh.
count now.
Yes.
And that's 33 years and you're doing all this. Yeah. And
Yes,
that's just
ma'am.
a pat on the back. Yeah. And
Thank you.
you do such a wonderful job in everything that I know that you have done. So,
Mhm.
like I don't know all the stuff that you involved in, but what I do know, awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So what would you tell someone that wanted to be part of your staff? Um, what would you tell them they need to do or what they have inside of them that they can bring out?
That's already on the staff, or somebody that would want to be on the staff?
Someone that want to be on the staff.
Well, so for starters, I would first see what job openings do we have? Should we do we have any?
Mhm,
And then of course it's a hiring process that I've learned. So before working at Antioch, I worked for Conn's corporate office for 6 years, and I was the recruiter there. And
mhm,
so I learned how to go through a full hiring process, phone screening, interviewing, background checks, drug tests. I
mhm.
learned how to do all of that, and I never knew what I would need it for. I did, I was
Yeah,
just doing it, and I traveled with the company then, working in Beaumont and in San Antonio at a young age, and I was still in college at the time. But still just seeing what positions are actually open, and if they're open, then you apply. Apply for those positions. It's all everything that I need to know is on that application, and I've always been willing to give a person a chance.
mhm.
Just giving them a chance, because the truth is, somebody gave me a chance,
Right,
with whatever experience I thought I had, lack of experience, and then just fumbling and messing up along the way.
right,
I believe that you can be, if you're open to be trained, you can be trained.
right.
I really, really believe, just from looking at all of the college students that I'm near,
Mhm.
you know, I want to give them chances and opportunities so bad.
Right.
Just because like me, you was a broke college student. Can you
Mm,
just give me a chance, Miss Brooklyn? Can I do this? Do you need me for this? And so that's my mind is always like that. Always, always.
right, right. So I know that Antioch is building some homes, and
Mhm.
are you on that committee to
No,
govern
no,
it?
no, no. So that would be through Jehovah Jireh Village, which is again our chief of finance, Miss Felicia.
Mhm. Yeah.
Happy
Awesome.
about it.
That's another awesome person.
Yeah, yeah, happy about it. Happy to capture it. Happy to be there for groundbreakings and things like
Right,
that. But in that lane, I sit and I congratulate them.
right, right, right. And I know it's gonna be awesome.
Mhm.
Yolanda Nan Johnson Abrams says
So,
much.
yes, her son Alton is just amazing. Alton is one that's there with me every every Thursday. He
I saw him on
brings the
I
energy.
saw him on television this morning. I said, "Look at Elton."
Love him, love him, love him, love him. So yes, so just a prime example of just, I know my students. I want them to know me, and I know them.
Right, 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 right. I didn't teach Alton when he was in elementary school, but my girlfriend, he was in my girlfriend's class, and so, but he knew who I was, and he still
Uh-huh.
knew who I am.
Yeah.
And Yolanda and I, we dance together, so we teach high.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
So Melissa says, let me get it up here. She said, "Congratulations and blessings on your outstanding work."
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to tell the public about you as a person, or you as an administrator that we have not covered?
Well, me as a person, outside of work, you have to ask yourself, well, Brooklyn, what do you like to do? At what point do you just get to do something for yourself? I like to play. I like to, sometimes I'll say, man, I just want to go to the park. It sounds funny, but sometimes I really just want to go play, have
Mhm.
a good time. I go to the gym, but that's no fun. But doing things like that. I'm the one that's going to eat ice cream, just knowing that I'm a normal person.
Right, right.
Uh, half the time people are like, "Do you eat?" I'm like, "Absolutely." I would get on here and say that I love to cook, but there's too many people that would get on here and say otherwise. But I feel like I'm a good cook.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the one
I
that.
heard you was, so I heard that. I said, "Oh, really?" I'm gonna have to be her auntie.
Lord Jesus help me. But no, I really just like to have a good time. I like to clown. I like to, have fun. I'm not really one that would say, "Oh, I want to go on a vacation." No, because I'm always gone.
We
I
always
love to be if I can be home, I want to be home. Pizza and ice cream, my favorite food. Just you wouldn't think it, but I just love. Sometimes I like for people to know that I have a normal side, and
right.
it's not always just she's at work, she's this person, this is the person on the camera,
Mhm.
and different things like that. I have two nieces that I won't allow to stay over, but they can come over.
Not go home.
Yeah, yeah. I tell my sister, okay, it was good seeing you guys.
I ain't about to leave, girl. I'm about to go. It's time to go. The clock.
Yes, yes, yes. But
Yeah.
playing basketball, I like to play basketball. I like to do all of those things.
Mhm. So do if you like to do it, do you do it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Cool. Because
yes.
you've got to take care of you. You see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? I mean, work is good, but you've got to take care of the total person.
Yes, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I try to do it whenever I can.
And I'm telling you that, Brooklyn, because they tell me
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Yeah.
You have to slow down. You know, you
Hmm.
this age and you gonna have to slow down. But they have to do with anything. I'm,
Yes.
I'm always doing something. And I tell people in a minute, you know I'm quiet, you know I'm shy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Girl.
That's it. That's it.
I'm not, but I like like I said, I just love to have fun. I like to make people laugh. I like to just have fun.
Right, right.
You know.
It's,
So when God called me home, he gonna say that girl did everything.
you had a good time.
Yeah. She had a good time. So come on home. Not yet, God. I ain't ready yet. Cassandra says, I don't know this. Oh, Alison says, hey,
Hey, Alton.
Cassandra said, you are not. Oh, probably said I'm not quiet. Okay, y'all. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for coming on Blue Table Talk tonight. I don't want to take up too much Brooklyn's time. I'm very good at being patient with people who respectful of people time, put it like that. And so she asked me how long was the podcast. I said it was an hour, so hours it's drawing nigh right now. And thank you guys for coming on and throwing your questions to us. We appreciate you guys as always, y'all. Always support me. And so now that you know about Brooklyn and the things that she does, you probably have to tell her slow down now and you leave me alone. Leave me alone, go on to Brooklyn. So with that being said, if I can help somebody that I pass along this way, then you know that my living is not in vain. God bless you and God keep you. It's my prayer. As always, good night, guys. And we'll see you on next Tuesday. I think we have, I can't remember the group that I have on next week, but it's a singing group. And so they'll be on next week. Just look at Facebook and I'm always posting it, who my guests are. I love you, smooches, guys. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.